So around a year ago, right before the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover came out, I made a video going over all of the upcoming DC shows that were going to be possibly in the Arrowverse, or at least in the Arrowverse's multiverse. Since then, one of those shows has come out, which is Stargirl. Another one of those shows, Superman and Lois, is about to come out, and there are other updates about certain other shows from that video, plus 3 new CW shows have been confirmed to be coming out, all probably going to be in the Arrowverse. With that in mind, in this video, I'll be going over the now 5 shows that are going to come out on the CW that have been confirmed, go over the likelihood of them actually coming out at all, and what we know about them so far. So with that in mind, let's get straight into it with the first show that was confirmed, which was confirmed back in September 2019, which is Green Arrow and the Canaries. So over a year ago, like I said, it was in September 2019, it was confirmed that the penultimate episode of Arrow, which was the 9th episode of Season 8, which was titled Green Arrow and the Canaries, would be a sort of backdoor pilot into a sequel show also titled Green Arrow and the Canaries, starring Catherine McNamara, Juliana Harkavy, and Katie Cassidy as Mia Smoke, Dinah Drake, and Laura Lance, respectively. The show was going to be set in 2040, and like I said, act as a sequel show to Arrow. So that was a whole year ago, and ever since Arrow ended, other than this comic book poster that we got, no news has come out about the show whatsoever. Literally nothing. No filming, no scripts, no actual confirmation other than the fact that it's just in development. Nothing. Meanwhile, another CW show that was confirmed after Green Arrow and the Canaries was Superman and Lois has been going forward very, very smoothly, which it really makes me think that I don't really think that Green Arrow and the Canaries is a show that ever will happen, and I really don't I never really thought it was going to. It never really made any sense for them to make a sequel show to a show like Arrow that already had very, very low ratings by the end of its run, and Green Arrow, or this version of Green Arrow specifically, is not exactly a well-known character. Superman is Superman. He's the most famous, or one of the most famous superheroes on the planet, so it makes sense that while Supergirl has had pretty low ratings at the end, and they even canceled it at this point with Season 6, it makes sense that they would be giving him his own show because he's a very famous character. Green Arrow and the Canaries are a lot less, so I don't really think it ever made sense to give them their own show, and I don't really think it ever will happen, since it's been over a year and there's been no news about it whatsoever. And then there's Superman and Lois, which was confirmed in October 2019, so also over a year ago, but the development of the show has been extremely quick and extremely smooth, especially when you consider COVID-19. The show was supposed to start actually already in October 2020, only a year after it was confirmed, but because of COVID, it was pushed back to 2021 to February, but that is to be expected. The development of the show has been extremely smooth. Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch were confirmed to reprise their roles. Jordan Elsis and Alexander Garfin were confirmed to be John Kent and Jordan Kent, the sons of Clark and Lois, and also a lot of other cast members have been confirmed as well. The pilot script was actually leaked online. I read it. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but it did confirm the identity of the main villain, who is otherwise known as just the Stranger. It has been confirmed that the season will only have 13 episodes, which is something that I'm a fan of. It means that there's going to be significantly less filler than the typical 20, 22, 23 episode seasons that the CW shows did have, especially near the beginning. The show also already started filming actually a while back, and from certain set photos as well as later an official poster, we did get our first look at Superman's much needed upgrade to his costume, and I gotta say it looks really, really cool. It's a lot better than his old costume, and it's different from most of the Superman costumes we got, other than I guess the Man of Steel costume. It definitely looks a little bit similar, but that's not a bad thing at all. I think it's a really, really good looking suit, and I'm looking forward to the show even more because of it, which is coming out on February 23rd. There's not really much else to talk about because, like I said, everything about the production of the show since it was announced has been extremely smooth, especially when you compare it to Green Arrow and the Canaries, which we've gotten nothing from, and it seems like it's in some sort of development hell, and it's never going to come out. But Superman and Lois, February 23rd, 2021, will debut its first episode. Back in November of 2020, so just like a month ago, it was confirmed that a Black Lightning spin-off show was in development, which would be surrounding Painkiller. A couple weeks after that, it was confirmed that Black Lightning will be ending after season 4, which is the next season. And despite this, it seems like Painkiller is still going forward, so it can technically be considered a sequel show and not exactly a spin-off show, but I guess it is both. Now, the Painkiller character is definitely not a character I ever expected to get a spin-off show, mainly because in the comics, he was only in like 3 issues, and he's a very, very minor Black Lightning villain. He has no storylines, really. He has no supporting cast at all. And everything really anybody's ever known about the character is from the show Black Lightning. However, on the show Black Lightning, he is definitely interesting, and he has an interesting storyline of sorts. And I definitely think they could do something with that. However, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Painkiller falls into the same development hell that Green Arrow and the Canaries did, because I think marketing-wise and I think that just based off of the ratings, it just doesn't make any sense for this or Green Arrow and the Canaries to happen and for them to invest money into it, because it's spinning off from a show that, I mean, Black Lightning is being canceled after the 4th season, and the ratings have never been good for this show, other than like maybe the first episode having a good debut, like compared to the rest of the CW. The season 2, season 3, season 4, season 4 hasn't come out yet, but the ratings have been terrible, despite the fact that season 3 wasn't bad at all, but the ratings have been terrible. Nobody's really watching it, or at least not many people are watching it. So for a spin-off show about a completely unknown character to be spun off from this show that's ending after season 4, it just doesn't make any sense to me, much like Green Arrow and the Canaries, or even less so than Green Arrow and the Canaries marketing-wise. Story-wise, I think it makes more sense because Painkiller is an interesting enough character, but I don't think it will ever happen, and I think that it will fall into the same development hell that Green Arrow and the Canaries did. Just don't expect any news about this show, like, anytime soon. Next month, in January, that is, 2021, DC is launching a new event in the comics called Future State. The event will follow a look into the possible future of the DC Universe and also follow new versions of the main heroes of DC, mainly Batman, Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, and the topic of this portion of the video, Wonder Woman. The new Wonder Woman from the future is named Yara Flor, and she's a Latina superhero who takes over the role of Wonder Woman. Now, this show that has been confirmed is not called Wonder Woman, it's called Wonder Girl, so that's maybe one thing they're changing from the comics, or maybe Yara Flor will be a Wonder Girl before she becomes Wonder Woman. We don't know yet because she hasn't even debuted yet. That's what's crazy about this. The show was confirmed in December, and the character isn't debuting until January, so the show, her live-action CW DC show, was confirmed before she made her debut in the comics, which has to be some sort of record. So obviously not much is known about Yara from the comics since she hasn't debuted, but the show does have a synopsis, which tells us really all we know about the character so far. It says that she's Latina, she is the daughter of an Amazonian warrior and a Brazilian river god, and once she learns she's Wonder Girl and has this newfound power, she obviously fights bad guys. Now, I don't necessarily know if she will have a connection to Wonder Woman, a character who's only ever been name-dropped very, very casually in the Arrowverse once, and other than that, we've been to Themyscira. I mean, we've seen, like, the outside of Themyscira, but other than those things, Wonder Woman has not been prevalent in the Arrowverse, but this could, much like Batman was made more prevalent with Batwoman, I think that Wonder Woman as a character, and maybe as, like, the myth like that Batman was, can be made more prevalent with this show. It depends like how much connection Wonder Girl has to Wonder Woman, other than just being an Amazonian. And other than that, obviously we don't really know anything about Yara at all. But honestly, I am pretty excited for this show. It looks very interesting. It's a character that I don't really know much about. I mean, at this point, nobody really does, but I think that would allow them to do much crazier things because there isn't really anything to go off of from the comics. But they could easily take storylines from the original Wonder Woman and maybe warp it in a way to fit this new version better. And honestly, I am pretty excited for the show. Other than Superman At Lois, out of all these shows, I think this is the one that I am the most interested in. And I'm hoping it doesn't fall into the development hell that Painkiller and Green Arrow and the Canaries probably will/did. And I don't think it will because there is the Wonder Woman name, which is very, very popular, and that could definitely carry this show. into being created. Plus, it's not a spin-off show, it's an original show, so it definitely makes more sense in my opinion. Naomi McDuffie is a new character who debuted in 2019, so not as new as Yara Flor, because I mean she has debuted already, but certainly new, like insanely new for a character who's getting her own TV show. What I know about her is that she's from an alternate universe which was destroyed before coming to the main DC universe, and that she joined Young Justice briefly, or Teen Titans, one of those teams. It's possible that because her universe was destroyed, that will have some sort of connection to the Crisis if this is a part of the Arrowverse, which it probably will be. I mean, it's a multiverse-connected CW DC show. It's gotta be a part of the Arrowverse. In terms of development and the likelihood of this show happening, I would say that it is pretty high. I would be surprised if it falls through and doesn't come to fruition, mainly because of the big name behind it, which is Ava DuVernay. Now, her last DC project did fall through, as it was confirmed that she's going to be directing a New Gods movie. However, no news about that movie has come out whatsoever, and it seems to be in that same development hell that these shows are in. So it seems like she might have been moving on to Naomi, or she might have moved on to Naomi, but she still is a big name regardless. So I do think that it is a lot more likely than the likes of Painkiller or Green Arrow and the Canaries. It is less likely than Wonder Girl, despite the big name, because Wonder Girl is in itself a big name, a much bigger name than the likes of Ava DuVernay, even though it is a different Wonder Girl. But Wonder Girl and obviously Wonder Woman would carry the show a lot just with the name alone. So in terms of the likelihood of Naomi happening, like I said, more likely than Painkiller and a lot more likely than Green Arrow and the Canaries, but not as likely as Wonder Girl, and nothing is as likely as Superman At Lois, which is already coming out. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about the likelihood of any of these shows happening and which one you are most excited for. And stay tuned for what is basically my monthly uploads at this point. But if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.